Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new, you don't know me, my name is Shane. And this is a 95 Kawasaki 400. I don't know, I can't remember if it falls under the listing of Bayou. It doesn't say Bayou anywhere on it. But we have got some things to do to this thing today because I want to take it for a ride through the woods. So like I said, this thing's a 400. It does say Bayou on the front, so I was right, it is a Bayou. But it had been sitting for a long time. I basically brought it home, flushed the fuel tank out, stuck a carburetor on it, and got it to run. It runs pretty good. But we got a couple of problems. Problem number one, the reason why it got parked is because there's a pretty massive coolant leak coming from this area. It will not hold coolant. It drips steadily while running. And the other thing stopping me from riding it is this tire won't hold air because it has two screws in it. You can see both of them there. One there and one there. So we're going to plug those and dive into this coolant leak and see if we can't figure it out so we can take this thing for a ride, because I've had it for quite some time now and haven't really done anything other than ride it up and down the driveway. So let's get started. Another project that I have gained recently is this 98 Sportsman 500 here. It had been sitting for a while because it had a common Polaris problem that I couldn't find a whole lot of information on fixing. And I figured it out, and it was too late to have recorded the video. So if anybody is interested in seeing that and or has a Polaris that has the runs erratically problem, basically, sometimes it'll fire right up and run good, other times it'll fall on its face, sometimes you can't get it to start at all, comment down below. I'll make a video on what we did to it. Let's get started on this Bayou though. Alright, so first and foremost, obviously liquid cooled, obviously a radiator, but I found that you can get to the radiator cap by flipping this rubber back. So I think to start off with, we're probably going to fill it up with coolant and then shoot some rope plugs into here to air this thing up, to get this corner up high enough, slide this under so that when I take off wherever it's leaking coolant here, I don't make a mess on this beautiful painted, really nice to work on floor. Alright guys, so since I can't find my tripod, we're just going to have to work with folding this back. I'm reaching here. See if I can't get this cap off. Probably hasn't been off since this thing was new, so that might be difficult. Let me see if I can set you guys up where you can see what I'm doing. Kind of. See my finger right there. Oh, okay. And there, you can see in the spout, right there, is where the coolant goes in. Standard radiator cap like you'd find on a Honda Civic. Let's see what it says here. Ooh, never open hot, danger, and some Chinese lettering. How fancy. Looks clean though. But we're gonna take this here fancy long funnel. We're gonna stuff it down in the hole there, just like that. I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see, but there it is. And then over here, we've got the fancy motorcycle ATV coolant. So let's splash some of that in. Oh yeah. Oh, well, darn, my super nice floor. Radiator's full though. So let's see if I can do this. Alright, so let's see what we can do about getting these out. I got a Phillips here. Of course, that's not helping. So I'm going to have to grab them with a pair of snips or something. I do have this here flathead. It's not going to help though, so let me go grab some snips. Alright, and for my 5 loyal subscribers that are like, this guy hasn't posted a video in blankety blank. Yeah, I know, bad YouTube guy, sorry. But we're gonna make a change there, and we're gonna get a little more serious about making content. Now we just gotta fill these 2 holes here with the cheapest rope plug kit I could find, because if this ends up being a viable quad that I can trust, I'll probably get some new tires for it. Maybe even new wheels. Make it fancy. So let's get this thing open. So what do we got here? We got the hole digger thing, the rope plug pusher thing, some contact cement, and the rope plugs in the back themselves. Now, if y'all have never done this, you can pause the video and look at those instructions. But basically, I can go over real easy for you. Take this, you stab it in the hole, and you twist and do this motion to kind of round the hole out. Then you take some of this Bondy pluggy. I'm just gonna put some on the hole rather than on the plug, because, well, just because. And then we've got our rope plugs here, and these things are pretty much garbage and should only ever be used on lawnmower and ATV tires. I see them used on car tires all the time. That's a big no-no. But for stuff like this, small tires, I take these things and I cut them in half, which often proves to be a lot more difficult than you would think. So then you take your half a rope plug here and you stuff it through this hole like this on this thing, pull it halfway through, fold it back, and cram it in the hole. Make sure you twist it around in the goo, because that helps seal it. Get it in there. Nope, it's not gonna work, is it? No, don't do that to me. Yeah, I know. It's probably because I cut it in half. But let's just be lazy now, because this is a cheap set. All we need to do is fill the plug, fill the hole. That's all we're doing. Let's see if I can make this one work. These old dry rotten tires might, yeah, nice. We're gonna go again. This time, we're gonna go with a much longer piece, like this. Nope. There we go. Yeah. Super simple. Super easy. A caveman can do it. All right, let's do this other one. I lost it. There it is. I'm still gonna put some of the goo in the hole. Well, I guess I should probably follow the instructions and hit it with this first, right? So just a little goop on the hole. Take the rope plug, feed it into the installer thing, and once again, in we go. There we go. Now, as far as I'm concerned, those tails can hang out because, well, I'll trim them later. But let's air it up and see if it holds air. I usually run 5 to 10, depending on what machine I'm riding. That's just personal preference, I suppose. But we'll probably go ahead and go to 10, that way we can test our plugs here. Right there, you see 10.1. Oh no, the valve stem's leaking. There we go. All right, now let's grab some soapy water and see what happens. So here's some soapy water. We're just gonna dump it on the plugs here. And if it blows any bubbles, then it's leaking. And I don't know about you guys, but I am not seeing any bubbles. I'll check this valve stem though. It may or may not be blowing some bubbles out of the valve stem. You guys see that bubble? So let's take this, because I don't have a valve stem tool on me. Well, still leaking. Let me see if I can find a valve core. All right, so typical fashion, I literally, just looking for my tripod, which I did find, if you noticed, I found a valve stem tool. And I thought, I need to remember where I saw that, because I'm gonna need it. ADHD brain says no. So, next best thing, air it up, put a cap on it, until I grab one of my valve stem tools from the shop. So let's do that. We're gonna just go ahead and take this guy, and we are going to screw it right on. And they have little silicone seals in them, so they're right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Tire should stay up now. And, like I said, raise the quad up enough to get the coolant tray under it. So let's go to that. All right, so like I said, you can see a little bit of wetness down here. I think it's leaking from this thing. I don't think it's the hose. I think it's a gasket on the bottom of that. See that? So I think we're just gonna pull these little 8mm out and see if we can't find some damage of some sort. All right, guys, I know it's not the best of view, but I'm gonna come in here with this DeWalt here and go ahead and yank these screws out of this cover. Maybe if I can get the last one. There's the 3 bolts. As you can tell, they're definitely coolant bolts because they're rusty. Set them up here on this tray, and I missed one. Of course, there's 4, not 3. There we go. Does this 10 have to come out too? That lets the juice out. It did not let this be loose. So let's see if we can't figure it out. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do here, to be honest with y'all, because I'm not finding any other bolts holding it down, but there's no way to get a screwdriver in or anything. So I guess let's try this jack handle. See what we can break. There it goes. All right. There it is. Ah. So like I thought, that is the water pump, and seems all right, but the gasket's split. I definitely don't have one of those, so I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. We are going to use right stuff. We're going to clean all this up because you can feel right here where my index finger is. You can see the wetness and everything. That is where it was leaking past the gasket. So I am going to clean all this up, put the gasket back together with silicone. Nope, maybe not. Crap. Well, I'm not ordering a gasket for this thing and waiting forever, so we're probably just going to go ahead and silicone it up. And that'll just have to be okay. And I will order one later. But if this gets me to riding this thing later, for now, to see how she's going to do, then I am going to be much happier. See if we can get this off. In pieces, of course. Alright guys, so here's a little tip and trick from somebody who's been doing this for a long time. I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, he's using silicone. You can't do that. It won't work. Blah, blah, blah. It came with a gasket. Something, something, something. Blah, blah, blah. That's how I feel about it. Because if you drive anything newer than a 2008, probably before that, honestly, pretty much everything's glued on. Oil pans, timing covers, water pumps. Some of them even only have an O-ring on them, and that's it. No gasket at all, no sealant, no nothing, just an O-ring. Yeah, pretty much everything's glued on now. And I'm not sinking a bunch of money into this quad when I know nothing about it. I got it to run, yes, I'll give you that. But up and down the driveway a couple of times, not much of a test. I have no idea if this thing, because you saw it had, I poured a bunch of coolant in it and only that little amount came out of the block. So there is essentially no telling if this thing has been overheated or if the block casing itself is cracked or anything else that could make spending any money on this thing completely useless. And this stuff, if you've never used Permatex Right stuff, I'm telling you, when you have to take it back apart, you're gonna be a little mad at yourself. But if you ever have a leak that you can't get fixed with a gasket or an O-ring or anything else, I promise you, put this on, bolt it up, fire it up right away. It's done, it's sealed. This is the 1 minute stuff, which means basically squirt it on and get it on quick. And I believe within, it's 1 minute return to service, 5 minutes, you're good to go maybe. Let's see, up to 450 degrees continuous heat, 500 intermittent, proven leak proof in over 5 million miles of fleet testing. This cartridge produces 15 to 20 4-cylinder valve cover gaskets, meets OE specifications of GM, Ford, and Chrysler, and assemble parts within 5 minutes, tighten to torque specifications. Vehicle can be returned to service immediately, not to be used as a head gasket or on parts in contact with gasoline. Everything else, it's even safe for food processing facilities. I'm telling you, I shot a rock at my above ground pool one time and at the bottom with the lawnmower, and I literally cut a piece of the strap off the outside that goes around the legs, smooshed a bunch of Right stuff on it, jumped in, dived in, pushed it up against it real quick. That pool lasted like 5 years like that with I think 4 or 5 patches like that. So yeah, if you're ever skeptical about this stuff, don't be. It's fantastic. The only thing that sucks though is you always got to clean the tips out, and it's a bear to do, so keep that in mind. Pimp down. I like to usually use picks and things because it comes out like that, and then you just get it knocked off the pick, pull it back through, done. Now as long as this is good, which squirt a little out, rubbed on this tire here. Probably should put it on the part that I just put the plugs in, but I didn't, so whatever. And then you just take, really now, what's the problem? Oh, because you gotta turn it like that. Boop. Now it's gonna come out. I'm just gonna draw a thin bead around this thing here, and then I'm gonna slap it on, and it'll be fine. Ooh, that is not thin. Sorry, Kawasaki. Now, if any of you are concerned with, if you can see that there, if you're concerned with any of that getting in the cooling system, I promise you I've been doing this for a number of years, and even finding engines in vehicles that, you know, another mechanic has done or whatever, find some of this stuff in the oil pan sometimes. Not a huge deal. Doesn't seem to ever affect anything. Never found it in the oil pickup. You know, you might find stuff laying in valve covers and stuff because some people are super sloppy with it. I really haven't ever seen any massive problems come of it. Nothing like a blown up engine or starved of oil pressure or anything crazy like that. So I wouldn't be too worried about it, but I'm telling you, it don't take much of it to do what you need it to do. See all that squish out there? She is sealed now. I'm not even going to clean the excess up. I'm going to let it all work as a gasket. That's pretty much it. That's all I got to do other than find that 10 millimeter. There it is. See? That plug right here for draining the coolant out. We'll put that back in, and then we'll fire this thing up and bleed the cooling system out. See if it leaks. Oh. There we go. There we go. Let's go fire this thing up. All right, so I've got a not very good battery in this thing, and it might not start right away, so bear with me. Let's see what happens. That's kind of what I figured. So we're gonna cheat and do this. Take that and my ATV lawnmower jumpers. They're super thin. Melt them down trying to use them on a car. They work fine on lawnmowers and ATVs, guys. Let's see if I can find. Nope. This. See what happens now. Fired up pretty nice and easy. I did start this earlier to back it up, but I'm telling you, that carburetor made a huge difference. Let's get some coolant for it and see what happens. since green came out of it, I'm just gonna find some green to put in it. Ain't that right, say dog? Say hi. Oh, does it say dogs? All right, be free. But what I don't see happening is a leak happening from right in that area. You used to be able to just see it steady dripping right there. So you guys watch that, and I will add some more coolant to the situation. Alright guys, look, I believe we fixed the coolant leak. I believe we fixed that tire. Fixed. I might throw some LED headlights on it because I have a bunch and they don't really seem to work all that well. But I'm going to go ride this thing later on and I'll give an update back on it. I think we're good to go. It might be worth buying a battery. We'll just have to see if it overheats or leaks anything from anywhere. But in the meantime, stay on your toes. And don't flip these things over.